Hello, guys. Welcome to Average Joe Rants, and I apologize for the delayed wait. Um, last 2 days I've been kind of exhausted. I think I did promise to do a video right after Christmas, but that's not the case right now. It is the day after Christmas. It's like the 27th, I believe. So I do apologize for that. Um, I usually get up pretty early on the day after Christmas to go take advantage of some deals at Walmart, but this year there's kind of really slim ass pickings. So I don't think I'm ever gonna do that again. I might go to either a different Walmart or I might go to Target. Just because they might have better shit. Because they had like nothing at Walmart. They had like Axe body spray and shit like that. I managed to get some body wash, but yeah, there's like nothing there at my Walmart. So fucking shame too. I like shopping there in the early morning. There's nobody fucking there except for the employees. Man. In any case, God, there's been a lot of shit that's been happening, hasn't it? So let's go ahead and do sort of a smorgasbord here. Go over a couple topics. So let's talk about. Man, God, I'm trying to think of like something now because I'm trying to like go through all the shit in my head. Um, let's actually, I guess, go to the one of the first things I was going to talk about, which is uh the Minnesotan state flag and the scandal that's happening there too. Ladies and gentlemen, Minnesota recently voted to change their state flag to one that basically resembles the one of Somalia. It is slightly different, obviously. It is a flag that has a star and two shades of the color blue, whereas the Somalian flag has a different kind of star and a one shade of blue. However, it is basically one to one with each other otherwise. If you were to literally shade out one part of the color blue, one blue color, and then take off some of the parts of the star of the new Minnesota flag, it would literally be one to one. Like that's crazy to me that they basically changed their flag from something that's proudly American to that of a country who still deals with piracy. That still deals with piracy. It's crazy to me. Now, many of you might have heard about the news and how Tim Walz has basically been accused of fraud, of which he actually just admitted that yes, there's been a little bit of fraud, despite the fact that it's reaching about $18 billion. But I'm going to give a shout out to Nick Shirley. Now, those of you who don't know him, he's he's an investigative journalist who's on YouTube. And basically, his whole thing was he went to Minnesota, went to all the places that have been accused of fraud. And you know what the crazy part is? Is all the places that have been accused of fraud have been like daycare centers, child care centers, autism centers, which for me pisses me off because autism is something I actually fucking have. I have the tail end of it. The fact that these motherfuckers are actually frauding the Minnesotan state of millions of dollars using autism offices pisses me right the fuck off personally. But anyway, as if that wasn't fucking bad enough, Nick Shirley goes there, right? Every single one of the child care centers has blacked out windows. The doors are locked. When you knock on them, somebody comes to the door. And Nick Shirley basically went undercover and basically acted like he had a kid, which I don't know if he does or not. But he decided to actually go to these child care centers, and they all asked him why he wanted his son to be there. Why do you give a shit? Okay, you have a parent saying he wants to put his kid in your care, and you're getting paid from the government to do this service. But you're not willing to take the kid. Every one of these places rejected him. They didn't know who he was, obviously, but they rejected him. They rejected him, they rejected his made up son, and they had no way of knowing it was made up or not. So these places aren't child care centers, they're just empty buildings, I guess. Not to mention the Minnesotan state government kept these places going despite them violating several laws regarding upkeep and maintenance. So, like, what the fuck is even going on in Minnesota right now? I don't live there, obviously, but it's like, I feel like this should be, people should be getting charged at this point. Besides the fraudsters, the entire Minnesotan state government should be fucking charged for being privy to this. Because, like, of course, Nick Shirley ends up getting a meeting with the state government of Minnesota and the state capital. And he presents all his findings, and it was like they didn't even give a shit. And they tried to excuse it, like, oh, well, we've had like 10 meetings about this. Why are you having 10 meetings about this? It should take one meeting with all this evidence to show that, yes, fraud has taken place here. Not to mention, Tim Walz's secretary or some shit decides to don a Somalian outfit as if to just say, hey, we're proud of what we did, go fuck yourself. I don't say this very often, but shit like this is like convinces me more and more that eventually people are gonna get sick of this shit and rise up. Like, legitimately. I mean, you look at it all across the fucking world. These left leaning governments having protests every single day, these massive fucking protests because people are fucking sick of not being able to live in their own fucking countries. Well, they get put below the people who aren't even born in those fucking countries. I mean, you got the UK, you've got fucking Belgium, you got Ireland, you got all these places being where people are rising up and protesting against the left-leaning governments there that are hopelessly corrupt. And it's like, you see it here, too. It's like people are protesting against, but they're protesting against the wrong shit. Okay? Okay, they protest like for BLM and shit like that, and what ends up happening is like what ends up happening is they let people in who don't want to be Americans. They want to live in America, but they don't want to be Americans. Like these Somalians, it's like they defrauded $18 billion worth of aid money that could have straight up gone to other programs. Could have provided housing, because this is taxpayer money, and one of the reasons why taxpayer money exists is to keep up with infrastructure like streets and streetlights and buildings and all that shit. But instead, 18 billion of this fucking shit went towards these Somalians. 18 fucking billion dollars. You realize what I could do with 18 billion fucking dollars? I could literally buy several mansions twice over, have my own personal fucking army, and have so many yachts, I'd probably be able to create my own fucking town of them. That's how much money, just in scale, $18 billion is. The average person could be could have several houses, mansions, and yachts just with that amount of money. To the point where you could actually probably create your own fucking town. That's how much money $18 billion is. And it's probably even, I'm probably underestimating that even. And it's like, Tim Walz is like, oh, there's a little bit of fraud. There shouldn't have been any fraud in the first fucking place. I mean, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? There shouldn't have been any fraud in the first place. Admitting to it is basically admitting you allowed, under your administration, billions of dollars worth of cash aid to various medical programs that they aren't even upkeeping or doing their responsibilities. Like I said, these are daycare centers and child care centers in Minnesota. And all of them are blacked out. All of them are empty. There's no children. There's no adults. There's no anything. There's one person on the property to keep up appearances, essentially. And maybe two people out front smoking to make it seem like it's fucking busy. There's also transportation companies in Minnesota, of where there is apparently 1,020 of them, 800 of them, which are Somali owned, with millions of dollars worth of cars and fucking buildings that all just sit in the same place for months on end. What the fuck is going on? Okay? I want to know just as much as anybody. The fact that Tim Walz even admits there's fraud means under his administration, this went on. Yet somehow, people have not been arrested for this, except for a few Somalians. 12 Somalians, despite the fact that there's more than 12 people at these fucking buildings. Like literally, there's like 25 something businesses that Nick Shirley and this other guy called David visited, and there's always one, like at least 3 people there. All of them Somalian, no kids, and 2 of them are always fucking outside. Okay, it's fucking crazy. It's nuts. And then there's one part in the video where they straight up lie to the cops. Not Shirley, the fucking Somalians. Basically, the cops try to get the story from fucking Nick, and they basically tell him, and Nick basically tells the truth. They're looking up rates, and the lady just straight up lies to the cop and says, no, they weren't. They were causing a disturbance. They weren't causing a fucking disturbance in the video. They were very nice. And because Minnesota's so ass fucking backwards, they kicked the guys out of the building for no fucking reason. I get it. I understand the whole thing where you have to, if it's their building, they have the right to kick you out. But typically, you don't fucking do it if they're not being an asshole. Because guess what that does? All it does is make you seem like a fucking prick. It's fucking ridiculous. That, it's like, at a certain point, I don't like talking about this often, but at a certain point, people are, like I said before, they're going to rise up and there's going to be a civil war in America again because people like me are getting fucking sick of this shit. We see this shit, we see nothing being done, and eventually people are going to get so sick of it that they're just going to take up arms and start shooting these fucking people. That's the reality. It's what happened when we actually created this country in the first place. People got so sick of British rule, we rose up and fought against them. And that's going to happen, I'm probably soon. Because you see all these fucking people protesting outside of ICE, and it's like, there's no reason for them to really do that. ICE is allowed to do its job under the current law. But of course they get fucking encouraged by fucking leftists and Democrats to protest outside these buildings. And of course, then the Democratic news, they never show the actual protests going on. They go during the day where it's nice and quiet and the place isn't even fucking open. He's not to the fucking public. It's just ridiculous. All I can hope for is that what I'm talking about doesn't happen, but something tells me it's going to. Because honestly, Democrats have literally fucked this country over so fucking much at this point. They have encouraged criminals from other countries to come into our country and start gangs and shit. They have allowed massive fraud to happen. This isn't the only Democrat, by the way, that has been accused of fraud. There was somebody in New York as well, and a Florida Democrat recently who was indicted. So it's like what? It's ridiculous. Is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And I'm hoping civil war doesn't happen. But it might have to. Okay? No, here's hoping it doesn't happen. But our country might just be that fucked up. And once again, if it does happen, it will be the Democrats' fault because they let it get this fucking far. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about anything else right now. I was going to, but now I've kind of just depressed myself. So, pisses me off. It really does. I might say Trump's a fucking saint because he ain't. But if he didn't get elected, it's like I'm just, the what if scares the fuck out of me. Like if Kamala got elected instead, because I'm just thinking to myself, like, how much of this shit would have just been swept under the rug? You know what I mean? Like, just how much? Anyway, that's gonna do for this rant, guys. I hope you like my little Batman hat. It has a little yellow pom-pom. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's why I'm doing shit on the couch again. Little angel is on the chair again where I usually do my videos. So he did get a couple things from Santa this year though. Guys, brand new cat tunnel. It's of a color I'm not exactly all that jazzed about, obviously, but I'm willing to let my own bias, by the way, aside for, this little angel right here. I am spray painting that bitch as soon as I can, though. Go under here. You can also see we got a little tambourine full of cat bells. So, yeah. So, he had a pretty night. Oh, you woke up. Hold on. Hey. This is the calmest you guys are ever going to see him, by the way. Hey, baby. Yeah. But anyway, that's going to do for today's rant. I hope you guys have a good day, a good night, and here's hoping shit's not as bad as it is. So I probably shouldn't have done that simple. That's not exactly the best simple. There you go. Let's just hope shit's not as bad as it is, as I think it is, because, yeah. But anyway, if you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye-bye.